Hello, STAT students. Today we're going to do 1.3b notes. So if you would turn to that page, we're going to do a little bit of technology. So previously we talked about the measures of central tendency, and we talked about the mean, median, mode, and then we talked about the spread, in particular variance, standard deviation, and then IQR, quartile 1, quartile 3. And we also at the end, I talked about the 5-number summary, which is the minimum value, the maximum value, Q1, median, and Q3. Well, today the technology will give us an easier way to find the mean, find the standard deviation, figure out what the 5-number summary is. And basically all we need is a list and then calculate using one variable statistics. So the first thing we want to do is enter the list of data there for the example on the bottom page. So the example is, which gender is taller, males or females? A sample of 14-year-olds from the United Kingdom was randomly selected. Here are the heights of the students in centimeters. And so we have male heights and female heights, different numbers. And the male list is a little smaller than the females, but that's okay. We're just going to figure out where do we want to compare the two groups. So the first thing we want to do, and this part is not listed on the top of the page, so you might want to write down the steps on how to enter a list. So you click on Stat, and then you click on number 1. It's already highlighted. And then in list 1, I would just start on the far left, and I would call list 1 males. It doesn't matter which one you call it. If you want to put females there, put females. But I'm just writing them in the order I see it on the example page. So I already entered the list for males, and then I'm going to scroll to the right and enter the list for females. So I'm going to try and be very careful here. And I would like you guys to do this too, or at least follow along so that you know how to do it when you're doing the worksheet. The hardest thing is leaving off a digit and then trying to figure out what you did wrong. So I'm going to go a little slow here. Yikes. That's where I don't want to make a mistake. Really close. And hopefully I entered them incorrectly. Now another thing I want to mention, we don't have a third list, but say we just entered some random numbers and we didn't want any of this. So say there were like 50 numbers in that list and we didn't want to go back and go up and delete and so on. I don't even think it's, okay, I don't know what it's doing. So anyways, you want to clear the list. So you go all the way up and highlight the name of the list, and then you hit clear, and then you want to use the arrow down button and it will clear the entire list. But you want to make sure that you highlight the list name, clear, and then move down. Right? So now that we've entered the list, what do? So you go back to stats and you this time go to calculate, and it's going to be highlighted on the one variable statistics because our one variable is heights of students. So we're going to click on that. And here it's really important that you have like a NEWA calculator, like a TI-84 plus CE is the one I'm running here to show you. I personally have a TI-84 plus C Silver Edition, and it works, and it gives you these prompts. If you have the TI-83 or the some older models or the older TI-84 that's not a silver edition, you're going to have to remember the order, like first it's list and then frequency list, so on. Now we don't need the frequency list until later chapters, but we do need the list, and then you just get on calculate to hit enter. Notice that we didn't have any data in list 3. All of ours are in list 1 and 2. So to change the list, you go back over here, and if you look at the very bottom of here, all the lists are in blue. So you want to select the second button because it's blue as well. And then I'm going to change it to list 1. And that's my male heights. And then I'm going to go down here and I'm going to hit calculate. And notice that it gives us our information. X bar is the mean of the sample. This is the sum of all the X values, so all the numbers added together. This one is the sum of, but it's not this value squared. It's the X terms squared and then added together. And then this is our standard deviation of our sample. Here we have the standard deviation of the population. We had 17 male heights. The minimum value is 87, so that was the smallest height. Q1 is 158. The median is 165. Q3 is 175.5. And the maximum is 183. So you can write all these numbers down in the first row of your example page. So 17, and then you can go to the minimum through maximum and write these down. So 17 is the number of values, the minimum is 87, Q1 is 158, the median is 165, Q3 is 175.5, the max is 183, and then if we go up, you see that you know the standard deviation, so that's the third column, 21.55. The mean is 162.59, and then there's 17 values. And we want to repeat this for females. So you can just click second. You can go to second, quit, if you just want to get out of there, or you could have pressed stats again. So stat, go to calculate, stay on one variable statistics. This time we want to change it to list 2. So the second button, 2, and that'll give you list 2. And there's our information for females. So N is 22, so that's the first number in our row. The X bar, the average, the mean is 161.55. Standard deviation is 5.18. And now here's the 5-number summary down below. So the minimum is 152. Q1 is 158. The median is 162. Q3 is 166. And the maximum is 169. And that's how you use the one variable statistics feature and the editing your list feature. That basically sums up what I wanted to do. Now that you have this information, you can determine if there are any outliers. So if you can go to the bottom of the page, you can figure out what the lower bound is for males and the lower bound for females, and then do upper bound for males and upper bound for females. And out of those 4, you will only see one that's an outlier. So I want you to be able to figure that out, because you will have to do that on a test and support it with actual numbers if you do it when you find that one outlier. And that's all I wanted to talk about today. Have a great day, Stat students.